Hey, I'm Ella and I am labelled as a creative type, and I love everything creativity. Some of my favourite things to do is paint, obviously, and I love watercolour, I love hand lettering, and any kind of mediums. Like, I'm totally into exploring clay. Love it. I'm also a mum to a 1-year-old, so that's really fun, trying to paint with a 1-year-old, sometimes coming in and putting his hand on my paintings. I'm married and I live by the beach, and I love the lifestyle that I get to live. I also coach creatives as well to help them with their online businesses, which is so rewarding because they're able to create this lifestyle of creativity, but also of one of flexibility and freedom. So my journey of creativity started when I was really young. I remember that I would always draw with my grandma, and she would always be like, "That's the best," and really encouraging. And I think that I owe a lot of my creative confidence from those early years in my life. All throughout school though, like, I loved art. It was the only subject that I was ever good at. And I always used to get kicked out of math class, and when I got kicked out I would just go, well, I'll just go to the art room then, and I just painted on my canvases, and it was just my way of expressing myself and just having the freedom to create whatever I wanted, and I loved that. And then when I finished in school, I kind of didn't really do anything creative for a while, and then I picked up hand lettering because I wanted to do something that wasn't in hospitality, and I wanted to create a business or something, some income. And so I started doing hand lettering, and then it's eventually morphed into now I'm painting, and that's been my creative journey so far. So when it comes to my creative process, I find it's a really special time for me. It's usually when my son Cove goes down for his nap, and I get a good solid hour just to come into this space here and put on music, and I really just start worshipping, basically. And basically what that does is just set me up for a really good art practice, and it allows me just to be able to be free on the canvas and just really, just be able to worship God through my painting and through adding layers. And I think that as I do that, He reveals beautiful things to me about the canvas and like who the canvas is actually going to go to one day. And I love that as I'm doing it, that He is just so gracious to like show me those kind of insights into what I'm painting. So it's a really special, unique time for me, and it's really sacred. My paintings are really unique because I feel like they meet people at a place that in their life that is really personal. And for me, this, for instance, this one that I have just done called A Stream in the Desert talks about the promises of God when we're going through desert seasons in our life. And a desert season can look so different for all of us, but I know for the last 6 years that has been my story, and that I've been walking and going like, what is going on? I have no idea what I'm doing, where my purpose is. I don't feel anything, and it can look really dry. And so the stream in the desert is a promise that God never lets us down, and that He wants us to come to that stream, even when we're in that desert time, when we're walking through and we're like, God, we don't know what is happening. And He wants us to come to that stream because the water that He gives is so life-giving, and we'll never go thirsty once we drink from it. And I think that, like the colours in this painting really symbolise that kind of season of that desert land, but then you see the promise of the stream in amongst it. So I feel like that is going to go to someone who it really speaks to, of who needs that promise reminder. And all of my paintings will have some kind of message or beautiful thing behind it, which I think just reveals more and more of God's heart for us and our love. So, as any creative will tell you, it is really important to stay inspired and on your creative journey. And I know for a lot of creatives, it's something that can sometimes be put to the back burner if we're not careful of that, we can really quickly burn out. And it's something that I learnt really early on when I started my lettering business. And now I'm really aware of how important it is to feed my creative self. And so I am really intentional about making sure that I go to workshops. So for instance, on my radar at the moment is to do a still life painting workshop, because that's going to challenge me in a different way to my abstract art. And then I also want to do a pottery workshop because it's working with my hands, and I love that motion of being able to create something from nothing. And I make sure that for me, what refreshes me and makes me feel really inspired is going op shopping as well, which is like totally random, but I feel like it's really inspiring. It's really important for you to find out what inspires you and makes you feel alive and creative, because they're the things that we need to do more of. It might be swimming in the ocean. I know that's something for me as well. There's so many things, like even just going out for coffee with myself, or yeah, so just things like that we can really just absorb and refresh ourselves with. And I know, like, I journal every morning as well, so that really helps me on my creative journey too, and just staying inspired. And I think as well, just praying and worshipping and asking God what He wants as well. Just when we're connected to Him, I feel like it just flows out of our life and into everything. And it's so special because He's a never-ending flow of creativity and inspiration. So all of those things combined.